Good morning, crafters. This is Eloise with Paperfire Studio. I don't know when I've been more excited to show you some things that I've been working on, spur your ideas, and also to make an announcement at the end that will benefit you, which is always fun. I do want to say before we start, welcome to my new subscribers. I am thrilled. We just keep chugging along and growing. So that tells me that you are a person who likes ideas, and that's why you come. And that's why when you see Paperfire Studio, you know she's gonna have something. She's gonna do something that maybe we haven't seen before, or put a twist on it that you didn't think about. And that's, to me, what spurs creativity. Not just doing what everybody else is doing, but putting a spin on it so that you can put a spin on it. So I hope that you are falling in love with what you're looking at right here. And the first couple of minutes of this video is going to be an ode to Ruby and Pearl XO, who has been a huge inspiration for me over the holidays. I love her style. She's teaching me to be a little more messy, and it's okay, and I love that. So this was one of her tutorials close to the holidays about some just little vintage looking houses that you could use in your journals. Maybe for a marker, a tuck, a flip out. I mean, there's a zillion ways that you could use these. But I want you to look at all the textures that you can put in these houses. Little ticket at the top. These are a couple of tickets. That's a cutout. How much you want to decorate this is up to you. I did a little rusty bits for the handle of the door leading in to the house. I thought that was really fun. This one, I kept it maybe a little more simple. Used some of my crocheted pieces at the top with a button. Did a little heart. Looks like a little heart locket for the door that leads in, and did some stitching, did some zigzag and straight stitch on them. But these are so fun. In fact, I'm enjoying them so much, I'm having trouble putting them in a journal because I love them so much. Third one, I used an old piece of jewelry that I had, kind of pushed it down in the middle of a flower there. Again, did a little raggedy top button for the doorknob there. And there are 3 different sizes. You can, this is the tallest one, middle, and then the little one. So I love these houses. I hope this inspires you if you love them. I will link her original video on this of how she did it, and go after it because it's a fun. It's quick and it's fun and with a lot of impact. So there's some ideas. And if that wasn't enough, then I found her tutorial on the no spine, the open spine journals, and how you do those. And I have not put the covers on yet. I have a couple of ideas for the cover. Not sure yet how that's gonna go. I've got this idea brewing here for her, but I have not committed yet. I don't know. So let me just show you real quick. These are made with, this is a cardboard cover here. This one is more of a Pendaflex, harder cover here. And just added some kind of neutral pages in here. and it is bound with the lace. I do want to show you the middle, because this is what she teaches you, is you're taking that piece of binding, as it were, and you're knotting it. So you have a knot, which again is just another thing to look at in the middle, and it really is secure. I mean, I'm kind of worried about whether it would be secure or not, and it really is. So again, another way to do a journal. And then this one, I blinged it up maybe a little bit more. Used, and again, there's a pocket here. And these pages, again, trying to keep things neutral. So depending if I want to just sell this as a naked journal, I did have a piece of a wallpaper paper in here, a digital. It's very pretty. And again, here's the middle and the knot. So just an idea, and you know me, I love the impact of the middle. So that is fun. So those two, and again, if I can find it, I will try and link it. If not, go to Ruby and Pearl XO and just go through her index, and you will find the open spine journals that she teaches. So thank you, Heather, for your inspiration on that. I want to keep moving quick. This was one thing I just want to show you real quick. Another inspiration a month ago is Stitches by Julia. Oh, you need to go to that site on YouTube. She has got some really fun ideas, and again, she's a textile fabric lady, but she gave me an idea, and of course she did a needle book, and I looked at it and I didn't think that I really needed a needle book per se. So I got the idea, wait a minute, because sometimes pre-COVID, I would go up to my daughter's, or we would go to a craft retreat, and you always got to lug everything, and it's just so much to take. Well, this is for journal binding. So again, there's some, and this is her idea here, that she takes the old needle books. She made a download of this, and she made it into a little booklet. So yeah, you could, take notes here, sizes that you need to remember, and of course it's copied, so it's got the shiny it's got the little needle threader, but again, it's just a digital. So that's fun, and that goes in the left pocket. Now here, I have not added anything yet, but she hangs ribbons, laces from here with safety pins, and I haven't added anything there yet because I've put everything really in the middle. So here's your awl to bind your journal. Here's all kinds of, if you use floss or whatever kind of thread you would be using, here's needles at the top here, and even some buttons, little buttons to hang there, more thread down here, a little thin ribbon there. Yeah, I love that. And then your awl sticks right in the acetate pocket there. And then you flip it over, and you've got maybe some pins there if you were doing a fabric journal cover and you'd need a pin. This is just decorative, just thought it needed a heart. And then on the last page are some thicker needles, some bigger buttons. Of course, you have to have your little scissors and your wonder clips. Again, holding pages, I would probably add 2 or 3 more along the top of the pocket there. But everything you need to bind your journal, you can take with you and have it all in one place. So I did just a little fabric patchwork cover on it, added some lace. I love this button. Did a Tim Holtz stamp there of scissors, and off I went. So that is, I don't know what to call it. It's not really a needle book. It's a binding book for journals. And I put journals down here at the bottom. So that one is done. Okay, what I'm the most excited about to show you is, I haven't seen this idea. I'm sure it's around somewhere. I always hesitate I cringe when I hear people say they've created something original, and then you're like, well, I've seen that 5 years ago. So, but I want to show you. You know me in estate sales. I go just about every weekend to estate sales. And on Sunday afternoon, you go by appointment, and they socially distance. They only let so many people in the house. And of course you're wearing masks. You got to stay 6 feet apart. Well, I was in one of the bedrooms, and it was on Sunday, which is the discount day. And I do like to go in on Sundays, Sunday afternoons. And I looked over, and in a basket was thrown this, I wasn't sure what it was, but I could see that it was some kind of quilt, which for all of us, if we're junk journalers, quilts always catch our eye. Well, I looked at this particular quilt and I thought, oh boy, it was a patchwork quilt, but it was very loved on. It was really ratty. I mean, ratty. But I thought, well, let me look at this quilt, because it was pretty. It had some color to it. And so I picked it up out of the basket, and I just looked at it and thought, wow, there is some potential here. Let me show you what it looked like. I'm not sure if you can see the staining on it, but it's very brown in a lot of places. It is brown. And I looked at it and I thought, oh boy, but then I opened it up. And I found that there was a lot of good squares in this that still, although they were a little ratty, they were still very pretty. And I looked at that and I thought, I wonder how much it is. I wonder, what they would charge me for this, because again, it was pretty much shredded. So I walked up to her and I asked her, and I always like to ask the history of things. So I asked her, tell me about this quilt. And she said, well, they were guessing it was probably 85 years old based on their client, and could be even older than that, which just made my heart sing that it was that old, that antique, vintage antique. Well, she said nobody even touched it all weekend except you. And I smiled in my heart and I thought, you know what? This quilt, which is what I love about what we do, we revive things. We can bring things back to life in a different way. And we could do that through ephemera, through pages in our journal, through covers of things that we find that may be ready for the dust heap. And she said we were going to just junk it if nobody wanted it. So she told me the price, and it was not very much. And I paid her for this quilt and brought it home. And I dropped the project that I was working on. I just put that project to the side because I wanted to work on this quilt. So let me show you. That night, we'll set this over here. That night I got home, and this is what I started doing. I started cutting out all the good ones. All the good ones. And these are maybe 2 3/4 square, not quite 3 inches. And I would try and find the best ones in the quilt. Now, I'm showing you 6. I cut out 130 squares, and I'm still not done because there's still more in here to be cut. So let me show you which is the fun, I guess, creative energy that we have in this craft that we do, is the ever-looming question, now what do we do with them? Well, obviously our brains will go to, it could be a tuck spot on a page. It could be this, it could be that, it could be a top tuck, it could, I mean, there's just a lot with this size that we can do. So I decided I want to have some fun with these, and I'm going to start with some quotes. Now, I called these now my quilt quotes, and I just went to my stamps and I stamped them on my coffee sprayed papers. And now I have, oh my gosh, the cutest little quotes that could fit in a journal. I've got this journal here. I mean, look at this on a page. Look how fun these are. They could go down in the corner as a tuck. They could come up here as a top tuck. Or what I kind of like is everything that we make doesn't have to be functional, okay? Maybe we just glue it to the center of the page just to encourage the owner with a quote. And that's it. Stitching it to the paper and having it just rest on there, having it rest on a page. So these are called the quilt quotes. Well, then I decided, okay, so we got some quilt quotes here. What else can I do? So then I decided, you know what? For my sisters that like bling, I'm going to add some bling. Now, these are kind of hard to see. So now I've got the quote with a little bit of bling added on these. Now, I will tell you, when I did these, I had to stitch around the outside to basically seal it because it was so tattered. And the back, and you can see, these are all hand-stitched quilt. There's nothing machine about it. So I stitched around the outside with my machine to seal it. And then I added the coffee quote on there. And now, again, they became quilt quotes. I just love, oh my gosh, I just love these. They are so, always believe something wonderful is about to happen. Oh, I can't tell you. I'm just so addicted to these. So then I decided, okay, is that enough of the quotes? Maybe we could do something else with some more. And now I've added little photos. Add some lace behind it. with a little saying. A lot of these are Tim Holtz, out of the Tim Holtz book. But again, I just have these little vintage photos, you know. Creative Cafe Girl has them. Miss Coggs has them. I mean, I'm sure you have some in your stash. And they have some bling on them, but they have photos. Do what you love. And again, think about these on a page. You know, maybe just sitting in the middle of a page, and how beautiful they look. They could be glued on, they could be stitched on, however you want to seal them. But I've made, I mean, look at this. I mean, I just, oh, my heart just sings. And to think that this quilt was going to be tossed if they didn't sell it. I feel like it was destiny that I found it. Oops. Sweet vintage. So there's one. I love this one. I love the vintage of this photo. Be brave with your life. And you can see how kind of ratty this is. But it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. Some of them have a little bit darker colors. Again, this is all hand. The person that made this quilt, and I don't want you to think I'm a little slice of crazy, but when I was driving home and I thought about this quilt, I actually thought about the women or the woman who made this quilt, and I said to her out loud in my car that I promised I would make this quilt live on. And that's what we get to do. We get to revive things, and it's so fulfilling. And in fact, as I was driving, I also had the thought, maybe even sometimes our journals revive people too. You know, not only do we get to revive pieces that go into the journals, but hopefully we spur thought and revive people as well. All right, and the last thing I want to show you, and this is my second set. I actually had these in my shop. These are my coffee quotes. So I did these on watercolor, heavy watercolor paper. I did my coffee dyeing on them, and then I stamped on them with a quote, stitched them to canvas. So again, you have, I love this stamp. The secret of life is enjoying the passing of time. Thank you, James Taylor. All kinds, all different sizes. I let the stamps determine the size. And again, side tucks, however, there's a zillion ways to use these. So these are what I call my coffee quotes. And I actually had these in my shop, and a woman contacted me and cleaned me out of all of them. So I thought, oh, all that work. I mean, obviously, I'm glad she could use them. I love this one. Live inspired. Oh, it's beautiful. Trust your heart. Dream on. All kinds. I just give every day the chance to be the most beautiful day in your life. I love that. So those are my coffee quotes. Now, I also did a variation on those, and I will have these up in my shop as well. I decided to get my Tim Holtz abandoned fabric out, and I did some on not canvas, but just for a little pop of color. I did blues, I did some gold, and there's some kind of a rosy peach color on here. Gold, and then some deeper rust. These are all the Tim Holtz fabrics there, and the blue. And then even some pinks here. And I've got always be joyful, and life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. So again, lots of quotes. So I'm going to be bundling these and putting these in the shop for you to enjoy. I'm going to keep working on. I have a lot of squares, a lot of quilt squares, and I'm thinking about maybe just listing some quilt squares plain for you to play with. Maybe tell me in comments if you want to do that. If you'd rather, you know, have some that are just plain and then you could work on, you know, putting pictures in, or if you'd rather them just be all done and ready to go. So I'd be curious what you guys think on that. All right, and last but not least, my announcement is I am going to kind of expand, and I've been doing it for probably the past 6 months, expanding my kind of focus to, yes, be on journal making, but to also be a resource for you for vintage supplies. You know, I go to so many estate sales and there's so much, but I can't use it all. And I tell you that, you guys, a lot when I come back and I'll find something and I'm like, I gotta let you guys have the opportunity for some of this because I don't have enough room. So everything, I put a couple of things out here. Some laces. Look at this lace that I found. I'm going to make a digital of it. It's just beautiful. But I got some pieces of this lace, and I have stacks of lace that I want to start putting up in my shop. And also, look at these books. I have a resource, a store that I go to, that she gets crates, and when I mean crates, I mean the big containers from Europe. So the containers are coming into her store from the Czech Republic, from France, you know, Italy. I mean, she's just got contacts all over the place. Now, her pricing sometimes, it's a little much, but I've gotten pieces there that I could duplicate, that I could use again and again. But these books were in her shop. Even the end papers are gorgeous. And I'm going to try and see what kind of a print I can get off of this artwork. These books are 1920s, I think. I think I looked one of these up. So they're gorgeous and they're beautiful. But that's the kind of things that I want to bring to my Paperfire shop, is maybe hard to find things, really cool things, things that we can revive and repurpose. And so not only is it going to be vintage journals, but it's also going to be vintage supplies as well. In fact, I even changed the cover of my Etsy shop to reflect that. So I'm excited. I hope you have just gotten tickled about these things that I brought to you today. And go check out Ruby and Pearl XO. Heather, she's great, great teacher. If you want some of the little squares, the beautiful little quilt squares, I call them quilt quotes or coffee quotes, again, in PaperfireShop. But that's it for today. I'm going to go have some fun and get to work. All right, go make it a great day. Thanks.